Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Alhamdulillah, alhamdulillah, alhamdulillah rabbil alamin. Nasta'inu Dan welcome supervising lecturer for the session. And all my respect and devoted class friend, attendant and listener. First of all, let's thank the Almighty Allah Subhanahu wa Taala because of His grace we are able to come here and thank with president and secondly, like salam to deliver to our Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. Well, ladies and gentlemen, the presentation and discussion today is about individual awareness of diversity. My name is Nabila. I'm the moderator. What active will lead the discussion in this presentation. The presenter team in each group in which the member are Nabila, Hairunnisa, Amani, Fortunaria Henani A.M D, Rina Munawwarah Hidayatul Izzah and Oni Khanza. And the comparison team is the group 7. Today's discussion is divided into several sections as follows. The first session is opening, the second session is presentation time, the third section is opinion, objection, or question, and the third session for the comparison team. The fourth session is question and answer session for the audiences, and the last session is closing. Well, let's open our discussion by saying basmalah together.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim.
Now let's move to the second session, that is presentation. For the presenter team, the time available to deliver the material is only 5 minutes. So each of you only has 1 minute to deliver the material. You have to use your time as well as possible. Well, let's start the presentation. The first presenter time is your Miss Nabila, Hairunnisa, Amani. Time is yours.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. I will explain about definition. Individual difference. Individual difference are similarly easy to define. They contrast anything that marks a person as a distinct and unique human being. While this may appear by and relate to and particularly unique human being. While this might appear by and relate to and particularly if we adopt a broad conception of identity, we need to take some restriction to avoid redundancy. The difference are intricately interlinked with each other and in society play important roles in language teachers will be aware of their effect. In comparison to the linguistic factor, definitely linguistic factors are not even much important in SLA research. Enough for me. Thank you. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Okay, for the first video, I will explain about age. In this case, there are two cases, namely the critical period and the sensitive period case. In the critical period, second identification will not be successful because there are psychological things in play. Moreover, if you get older, there will be someone who prevents you from utilizing language skill, especially in speaking skills. While in the sensitive barrier is proven by the fact that the universal age of onset of production, rate of acquisition, and age of completion of language learning is the same, and which is relatively unaffected by the environmental variations and individual cognitive abilities. So in here, long argues that for language learners over 15 years, difficult to acquire native language such as fluency and absence of accent. Next, I will explain point B, that is sex. In here, men and women are born with different linguistic advantages, such as women learn to speak earlier than men, and girls learn foreign language faster and better than boys. Actual outcome studies show girls are easily superior to men in almost all aspects of language learning, except in listening vocabulary. Thank you.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Given the lecture, there is aptitude. In this case, we can also call ability or capability. Language aptitude refers to the potential that a person has for learning language. This potential is often evaluated using formal aptitude tests, and many language aptitude tests like TOEFL, IELTS have been used for a long period to test the aptitude of a second language learner of English. And there are abilities in this aptitude. There are phonemic coding ability, grammatical sensitivity, inductive language learning ability, memory and learning, and the next is language learning strategies. Language learning strategies include strategies for identifying the material that needs to be learned, and how the study of language learning strategies evolved in the past, and what characterizes the field today. And the language learning strategies, there are cognitive strategies. In this case, cognitive strategies is involving the manipulation or transformation of the learning materials. And the second is metacognitive strategies. Its strategies aim to analyzing, monitoring, evaluating, planning, and organizing. And the third is social strategies. These strategies involving interpersonal behaviors aimed at increasing the amount of language second communications. And the last is effective strategies. In this case, involving taking control of the emotional condition and experiences. Maybe just this from me. Thank you so much. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. I want to explain point 5, that is motivation. Motivation can be defined as the reasons why you are doing something or the level of desire you must do something. Motivation to learn language is considered one of the most possible reasons of success and secondary motivation. According to Gardner and Lambert, the following types of motivation exist. The first, integrity. Learners, one, are interested in second language so that they can better understand of speakers' meanings. The second is instrumental. The learners want to learn second language with the objective of getting benefits from the second language skill, like to getting a job. Point 6, that is learning styles. Language learning styles refer to cognitive variations in learning a second language. The following cognitive styles have been identified by Nabila. There are 4 learning styles. The first is
contract learning style. Learners with a contract learning style use active and direct means of taking in and processing information. They dislike routine learning and written work, and prefer verbal or visual expressions like to learn by games, pictures, or videos. The second is analytical reading style. Learners with an analytical reading style are independent, like to solve problems, and enjoy tracking down ideas and developing principles on their own. Analytical learners are serious, persistent, solve hard, and are vulnerable to failure. The third is communicative learning style. Learners with a communicative learning style prefer a social approach to learning, like talking and listening to native speakers. Fourth, authority-oriented learning style. Learners with authority-oriented learning style are said to be responsible and dependable. They relate well to a traditional classroom. They prefer the teacher as an authority figure. They see teacher as the source of authority. Thank you for me. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Now next, the last presenter is Oni Khanza and
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Salam.
Here I want to explain the second point. It is personality. Personality is a characteristic, way of thinking, feeling, and behaving. Personality embraces moods, attitudes, and opinions, and is most clearly expressed in interaction with other people. It includes behavioral characteristics, both inherent and acquired, that distinguish one person from another and that can be observed in people's relations to the environment and to the social group. Here, the personality characteristics that may affect second language learning, such as the first is extroversion versus introversion. The second is self-esteem. The third is inhibition. Next is risk-taking, and the fifth or last is anxiety. Thank you. Maybe that's my explanation. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam.
Thank you for all of the presenters. Now let's move the first session, that is opinion, objection, and or question and answer session for the conclusion team. The time available for this session is 15 minutes. So, presenter team have to use it as well as possible. I will read the rules for those who want to give opinions and objection or ask questions. The first, you have to write your name. The second, mention your name and the last 4 digits of your student number. And the last, deliver your opinion, objection, or question as clear as possible. This rule also applies to the audience leader. Well, for the comparison team, is there any opinion, objection, or question for the presenter team? Okay, Miss Sujiyanti, can speak yours.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Sujiyanti and my class digit number is 2071. From the paper, we already know 7 of these strategies. And I want to ask, how important is when we use strategy motivations? Thank you.
Okay, thank you for your presentation. You for your presentation, you get the point of Miss Sujiyanti question.
Yes.
Yes, you can discuss the answer with your team, or you can learn
Ada kan?
Thank you for your question, Miss Suji. And present 13, you get the point for all Miss Suji's question.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, I did.
The next question for comparison B.
Okay, my name is Hairunnisa and my last digit number 2154. Here I will ask a question related to motivation. According to Gardner and Lambert, the following two types of motivation are integrative and instrumental motivation. So, I want to ask, what is the difference between integrative and instrumental motivation?
Okay, next question for the comparison B.
My name is Rina my last digit number 2151. My question is actually from what type is it effective for someone to learn language, especially executive language? Thank you.
Okay, next question for comparison B.
Okay, my name is Nabila. I will ask, how does a teacher or tutor respond to the differences of that exist in each student in the class? Student differences.
Okay, question from Miss Sujiyanti, answered by Miss Oni Khanza. Let me see.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. My name is Oni Khanza. Here I will try to answer your question. But before I answer your question, sorry to say, if motivation is not a strategy, but motivation is a factor, the one of factor of to learn second language. Like that. But how the effectiveness of motivation, I think both between integrative and instrumental, this is two different factors. If integrative is it depends on you. You wanna learn second language is because you wanna improve or no, you wanna increase your your language skill like that. If instrumental, you have a target why you start to learning second language like that. Yes, like that.
Okay, that's the answer from Miss Oni Khanza. Do you understand about it, Miss Sujiyanti?
Yes, I can get the point and thank you for the answer.
Okay, question from Miss Erwin, answered by Miss Hidayatul Izzah.
Here I want to answer the question of Erwin Hitzani. The differences between instrumental and integrative motivations. The difference is learners with an instrumental motivation want to learn a language because of a practical reason such as getting a job, promotion, or getting into university. Whereas learners with integrative motivation want to learn the language so that they can better understand and get to know the people who speak the language.
Thank you for the answer from Miss Hidayatul Izzah. Do you understand about it, Miss Erwin?
Okay, I can get the point. Thank you.
Okay, question from Miss Putri Anggreni, answered by Fortunaria Henani A.M D.
No, Fortunaria Henani.
Halo.
Okay. In here I will answer Putri's question. And the question is, starting from what age is it effective for someone to learn a language, especially in a second language? Actually, about your question, in our material there is no discussion about starting from what age is it effective. But in this material, the age discuss about di umur berapa, dalam umur di sini berbicara tentang di umur berapa anak ini mengalami kegagalan dalam memperoleh bahasa kedua, seperti itu. So in this question, we can answer from my environment. The children get a second language acquisition from still in kindergarten. Thank you.
Okay, next answer from Miss Fortunaria ES. You understand about it, Miss Putri.
Okay, I can go in.
And the last question from Miss Nabila, written by Miss Rina Munawwarah ES.
Okay, I will try to answer from the last question. Actually, in every class, there are differences, factor in students, and if we as a teacher we can use some ways from face to this problem. There are choose the right learning method, and the second is interacting quickly, and the third treat the student fairly, and the last provide the right motivation. Maybe just this the answer.
Okay, that's the answer from Miss Rina. We understand about it, Miss Nabila.
Okay, I agree.
Yeah. Is there any special method for the problem?
Yes, Miss Nurafifa, I answer your next question. Choosing the right learning method. I mean, the teacher must use method in learning teaching, right? And if there are different characteristics in the class, we can use just one method, because for example, there is the children rely in audio, and we can use the reading method like that. So the solution is, as a teacher, we can combine two methods, like we can in teaching learning yes, in teaching English learning, we can combine two method. Sorry, I meant method as reading method and listening method, like that. Because there are different characteristics in the class. With this method, we can teaching the whole of the class. Thank you.
Okay, let's move to the next session. That is question and answer session for the audience. Still with the same rules from the audience. Is there any question from the presenter too? Okay, for Miss Ferdi. So, Mr. Ferdi, time is yours.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Hairunnisa. My last digit is 10 and 93. And my question is, here I found that in personality there is in the classroom and outside the classroom. And my question, which one is superior between both of them? Between.
And question from Mr. Ferdi Nansha will be answered by Miss Oni Khanza. It's yours.
Okay, Mr. Ferdi. Here I'm gonna give my opinion about the superior between inside or outside class of taking place. In my opinion, this is outside in the classroom because Mr. Ferdi, yes, this is in my opinion. I choose outside the classroom because if the learner learning in the outside of classroom, the learner may get more intelligent, guys, more get intelligent, like because if in outside classroom the learner can practically by themselves, like that.
Okay, the answer from the presenter team. Do you understand about it, Mr. Ferdi Nansha?
Okay, I understand about the Oni said, and as what is that? The explanation from Oni, I get that we can use independent learning, yes.
Yes.
So we can get more intelligent in outside the classroom.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Well, because out of the session have been answered, then we can move on to the last question, which is closing. But before that, I will read the conclusion dealing with our discussion today. This discussion today about individual learners' differences. Individual learner differences can be defined as personal characteristics that distinguish learners from each other in the teaching and learning process. Humans differ from each other through biological or nutritional factor and unconscious forces. The many ways in which learn technologies. And the differences that one can explore are age, sex, aptitude, motivational learning style, and learning strategies and personality. The above mentioned differences are intrinsically interlocked with each other and internally play important roles in learning. Maybe that's all for me. I ask the moderator apologies if there is a mistake. Thank you for your attention. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.